Good evening. I would like to call to order the Monday, November 7th special common council meeting. I'd like to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Kim Smith,
Here.
Tom Smith,
Here.
Leanne Stokes,
Here.
Dan Stevens,
Here.
Diane Wolf,
Here.
Stephen Knott,
Present.
Larry Jurassic.
Here.
Okay, we are all present and accounted for. Item 2 is Pledge of Allegiance. Let's stand and visualize.
Right outside the window. Right outside the window.
Right. I pledge allegiance.
And it's the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Wow.
Item 3 is public input. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the common council this evening? We do have a public hearing to follow regarding the budget, but any items could be addressed under public input. Is there anyone who would like to address the common council this evening? This is the third and final call asking for anyone who would like to address the common council this evening under general public input. Is there anyone online? Okay, public input is now closed and we'll move on to consideration and possible action on the following items. Item 4 is a public hearing. Anyone who would like to address the common council during the public hearing should begin by stating their name and address and limit their comments to 3 minutes per individual. And this public hearing is on the proposed 2023 executive budget, including the budgets for the general fund, the special revenue funds, the debt service funds, the enterprise funds, the capital project funds, the community development authority funds, the Gunderson Lutheran Parking Ramp Fund, and the tax increment districts. Would anyone like to address the common council this evening? Second call for anyone wishing to address the common council during this public hearing tonight. Third and final call for the public hearing. I don't see or hear anyone, so the public hearing is now closed. We'll move on to item 5, recommendation in regards to the 2023 city budget changes. Finance Director Sabrina Steger.
Thank you. So I handed out a couple documents tonight, one of them being the budget changes. All of those changes were voted on at F&P up to item 13. Item 13, through our work with Ellers and getting ready for joint review board, which is this week, I just increased our estimates for revenue in the TIF 5 and TIF 6. So it doesn't really affect the general fund. It just affects the revenue that's going to go into the TIF districts. So that's what item 13 and 13A are. Items 14 and 14A. These items I put in here to maximize our expenditure restraint. So essentially I'm putting in a revenue and an expense to get us to our max dollar for our expenditure restraint program. So these are just to help us maximize our full potential for the expenditure restraint program. Also in the items that you have, I did provide the expenditure restraint sheet, which will show you our budgeted expenditures. It'll show you the payments we received through the restraint payments, as well as the percentages that we are limited to for the expenditure restraint. So this year we could go up to 6.94. I added 29,000 to our expenses to get us to 6.934. So we would still go under, we'd still get that $7,000 for the expenditure restraint program.
Anybody have any questions or comments on that?
Sabrina, so I'm sorry.
Alder Wolf?
Thank you, Your Honor. So Sabrina, I'm assuming that you are looking for, as item number 5, you're looking for an approval for items 1 through 14A.
Correct.
I will move that we approve items 1 through 14A as per the handout this evening titled Budget Changes from 2023 Proposed Budget Submission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Alder Wolf. It's been seconded by Alder Stephen Knott. Is there any discussion? Alder Stevens.
Can we talk about the 29,000 for miscellaneous revenue and expense? Is that, so that was added to the budget, but is that like assigned to anything, or is that going to be spent, or is this kept
No.
as cash reserves, or what?
Just kind of a reserve to get us to our max for the expenditure restraint.
Can we reconcile that like at the end of the year then, or it's just a reserve, or how does that work?
It's just there.
A reserve,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's what I thought. We've done that before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, this is a simple majority vote. All those, I'm just looking up to make sure someone's gonna disagree with me if I'm wrong. So all those in favor of this motion, which is to approve items 1 through 14A, please say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. Motion carries unanimously in this case. Okay, let's see, and then also, were there any changes from the FMP meeting?
Those were included.
They were included.
They were,
Okay.
yep.
So now the question is, are there any new changes to the public input on the new changes to the 2023 city budget? We did not have any. That was item 6. So now we're going to number 7, recommendation. It could be recommendations from the Common Council for any changes to the 2023 budget. Alder Wolf.
Do we have to, for item 6, do we have to open it up to the public?
That was action from the public hearing.
Oh, gotcha.
And there were
Thank
no
you.
changes
Gotcha, thank you.
after that.
But eventually we. have
Because
to-
then we have to go back to the public hearing
Gotcha,
again.
okay, thank you.
No, we open it back up for any public input based on your changes in number 5.
Okay. All right, item 6, public input on the new changes to the 2023 budget as we just adopted in the previous item. Is there any public input on these changes which have just been accepted by the Common Council? Second call for public input on these changes, items 1 through 14A. Third and final call for any input from the public on these changes. Not seeing or hearing any, that item is now closed. And I will move on to the next one, which is input from the Common Council is now considered. Motions may or may not be made from the Common Council members regarding their requested budget changes. So is there any other changes to consider? Okay, if not, then that would bring us to item 7, recommendation on the 2023 city budget.
Move to approve the 2023 city budget as
Second.
presented.
Motion on the floor by Diane Wolf. It's been seconded by Larry Jurassic to approve the city budget as it stands. Is there any discussion? Sabrina.
Thank you. Also, I handed out to you tonight the annual mill rate changes for the city of Onalaska. So these are preliminary based on if the budget gets approved. So you will see our mill rate will go to 4.72, which is a decrease of 17.85% from 2022 due to the reval.
Thank
I'd be
you.
happy to answer any questions related to that, but just so you're aware.
Are there any questions regarding the mill rate?
Goes down, but your value goes up, you know, they keep on going back and forth every year.
Has there ever been a larger decrease in the mill rate and record that we're just aware of?
So this worksheet goes back to 2006 and no.
So probably rates of press
9, that's about
release.
it. No.
It's really.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to approve the budget as presented with the changes we've made. And that is a simple majority. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Now I think we have to go back to the public hearing.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
We
Well,
were allowed
because
them to have,
it's-
we didn't make any more
Oh,
changes.
because we didn't make any more changes. Okay, well, I'm just
Yeah.
It's easy to.
trying to make sure I don't mess up.
And nothing on this page has to be changed with the all updated.
Okay, so then it moves us to item 8. The resolution 21-2022 authorizing the appropriation of necessary funds for the operation of the city of Onalaska for year 2023. Sabrina, are all the numbers in this item correct as presented?
They are.
They are. Okay. Consider a motion then.
I'll move to approve resolution number 21-2022.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Stephen Knott. It's been seconded by Tom Smith. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Okay, go ahead, Alder Stevens.
So now is not the time to vote against the budget since we just approved it. However, I'll be the council curmudgeon and just kind of reaffirm I'm not happy with having the recycling fee instituted, but that battle's been already kind of fought and noted, so just a general displeasure, but I'm still going to vote for it.
Okay, any other comments from the council? Okay. All right, if there's no other discussion, we will turn to the clerk for the roll call vote.
Stephen Knott,
Aye.
Diane Wolf,
Aye.
Leanne Stokes,
Aye.
Dan Stevens,
I
Larry Jurassic,
Aye.
Tom Smith.
Aye.
The resolution passes 6-0. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work.
I move that we adjourn.
Diane seconds.
Motion by Stephen Knott, seconded by Diane Wolf to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. We are adjourned. What is the time? 6:19.
I beat that first meeting I was at.